All right, this is Judson Powell, and this is the fastest 15 minutes on the internet and on social media. And just want you to hit like, hit subscribe, whatever you do in order to expand the viewership of this particular entity. Anyway, want to talk to you once again, and I'm going to stay on this for a while. The thing about it is the dumbing down of the so-called African American. And the so-called dumbing down of African Americans is basically the point right now of systemic racism. And of course, I've been talking about all of the things that are dealing with the election, the upcoming election in 2020. People are like concerned that Trump will get reelected, and so they should be, because right now we understand that the policies of the United States of America, and not just through him, but through other people that surround the Republican Party and what we call quote unquote conservatives, they are basically trying to dumb us down and prevent us from getting the things that are probably rightfully owed to us. So things like reparations, things like, just being able to not be brutalized, the whole thing with police brutality. See, this is what I'm saying. And I definitely want to make this very clear. The thing is that even the Democrats, once again, and I keep on preaching this, the Democrats are complicit in all of this. And for us to believe as African Americans, I'm going to use the term lightly, I consider myself really to be an African, but as African Americans, so we'll use that terminology, thank you, Jesse Jackson, but African Americans need to start holding these people accountable. And, Candace Owens, I know everybody hates her and this, that, and the other thing, but the one thing that I do agree with that she says is that we need to have accountability from Democrats as well as Republicans. You cannot continue, even if it's just to get Trump out of office, but we cannot continue to vote for people who don't have our best interest at heart. People that don't have our best interest at heart, we don't need to be dealing with them politically. And we have political power. We have numbers. That's the thing. Why do you think they've been doing all this stuff, in the election in Georgia and in Maryland? Why do you think there was so much voter tampering and all the gerrymandering that's going on all around the country, redistricting and all these different things that are happening? And why do you think that the Electoral College is what? Basically, the last couple of Democrats has stole the election, stole it from Al Gore and now stole it from Hillary Clinton. When it comes down to the popular vote, which is how it should be, there's no question that there are more people who are Democratic than there are Republican. And there are more people that are liberal than are conservative, or moderate than are conservative. So, but the only way that they can continue to win, because they don't have numbers. They don't have numbers at all. And I'll do another post where I'll explain to you how all of this, the census and everything else, is all a scam. It's basically all a scam. But guess what? But that's how they decide your congressional districts. That's how they decide, how much money will go to your neighborhood or will not go to your neighborhood and everything like that. Look, and we are still playing, as Black people, as African Americans, we are still playing checkers, and they are definitely playing chess. We don't understand that this money, they're taking money out of us, out of our neighborhoods. We pay taxes too. We pay just as much. In fact, we pay more taxes than they do, because rich people, guess what? Rich people don't pay taxes. So not only are they not paying tax, why do you think the president does not want to expose his tax returns? The reason why the president doesn't want to expose his tax returns is because he doesn't want you to know how much money that he is actually making and getting, and then not paying any taxes on. That's what this whole tax bill, the only thing that's going through, once again, listen, the only thing that has passed, a legitimate law that has passed during the Trump administration in the last, couple of years, is the tax cut bill. Everything else has been stalled up. Everything else is an executive order. Everything else is in court. Everything else, nothing has gone through. And guess what? It took Democrats to make the tax cut go through. You know, some of them made a stink about it, but most of them didn't. Why? Because they're rich too. They millionaires too. You know, most of the people who are in the Democratic Party are also millionaires. So they have a vested interest. They're business owners. You know, and let me explain something to you. The Constitution of the United States was established for white men who are wealthy business owners. That's how the whole Constitution was set up. That is how the tax system is set up. That is how everything basically is set up. So if we don't learn how to play the game, we will keep on getting stung by the game. And we don't want that to keep happening. So we have to make a sacrifice. We already got Trump in there, but we have to make a sacrifice and start holding everybody accountable. Every politician should be accountable, and you should make them accountable, and you should make them expose the things that need to be exposed, like tax returns, like the origins of where did this money come from? Why is redistricting? Why are these things being redistricted? And in the meantime, in between time, they're setting it up so that they can steal this stuff again. That's what's going on right now as we speak. Right now as we speak, what's going on? Things are being set up so that they can steal the next election. And the collusion thing, even the collusion thing with Trump, all of that collusion is the same thing that Richard Nixon did back in the 70s. All he did was they were trying to steal the documentation and the strategy and the plan for the Democrats at Watergate. That's what Watergate was all about. They're just trying to steal the plans for the election. What's their strategy for the election, and how do they plan to win the election? And that's all it was. And then they, you know, and the only thing is, it would have went through, but he got caught. And I'm telling you, Donald Trump is caught too. The report that's out, you know, if you read the Mueller report, it's like, hey, he's caught too. And look, and the impeachment, once again, I had somebody say something on a post, but the impeachment is not about removing him from office. It's about the rule of law. Right now, we are a lawless nation. The president doesn't follow the law, so why should anybody else? The president literally does not follow the law. He just does whatever he wants. That is a dictator. That is a king. That is not a president. A president is, we live in a representative democracy. In a representative democracy, the people are supposed to dictate how the government is run. All right. The people here do not dictate how the government is run. Donald Trump does, because we're just letting him get away with whatever he wants. So this is a punitive measure. The impeachment is a punitive measure against Donald Trump. It's not trying to say, you know, it's not trying to remove him. Okay, if he does get removed, remember, when they started to impeach Nixon and they never finished impeaching Nixon, Nixon just resigned. You know, he was like, well, if y'all want to go after me like that. And Clinton was impeached, but he never left office. He left office when his term was over. But it's going to show you, look, we as a people do not put up with this kind of BS. We do not put up with racism. We do not put up with all the, well, you know, with the different things that, I mean, look at all the stuff he says all the time. You know, and people believe, you got to understand that what the president says is what people all around the world believe about us and our nation. That's ridiculous. And for us to sit up there and just allow it and say, oh, well, you know, it ain't going to remove him from office. So what? But we need to do something punitive to this man so that he understands that that's not the kind of country we are, or that's not the country we want to be. And somebody else I was telling them, look, Barack Obama wasn't accountable to African Americans or black people. You know, everybody, basically, that was a one-time thing. Everybody voted for him because he was black, but not because he had any agenda for black people. Be honest. Be honest with yourself. There was no, you know, we liked Barack and Michelle. They were cool. They were, you know, and everybody in America basically liked them because they had an all-inclusive attitude. You know, Barack had an all-inclusive attitude. Not that anybody was better or worse than anybody else, but he was all-inclusive. So people could get with him. This president is not all-inclusive. This president is about the rich and the white and the wealthy. That's it. You know, and everybody else that's in this country, you know, and he tries to say, you know, just like this stuff with these rappers and all that kind of stuff, that's only to get him street credibility. That's only so that certain people, because people basically are not that intelligent. They're not that intelligent. So all I got to do is get a photo op. You know, I stand up there in a photo op with a rapper or with an entertainer or with an athlete or whoever, and I understand, you know, that's what's going on. Other than that, you know, there are no boundaries to what this president is doing. There are literally no boundaries to what this president is doing. So we have to realize, we have to understand that as soon as, you know, everything is said and done, you know, the bottom line is this is how they are going to view and they are going to look at America. They are going to look at us as being, you know, this evil, this axis of evil and this axis of people that really, you know, don't love anybody else but, you know, but the rich and the white. You know, that's what they look at. And people, and the thing about it is, if you really take a pulse of the country, look at all the stuff that's going on. You know, the pulse of the country is like, you know, all of these racist incidents. And in a way, you know, I understand the whole philosophy of, yeah, in a way it's good because we now see, you know, the people that are racist, they're starting to come out. And so no longer is it covert. You know, racism used to be real covert. Nobody would say anything. You know, I was reading an article about Ronald Reagan and, you know, the fact that Ronald Reagan was a racist. But the thing about Ronald Reagan is he was smooth with it. You know, he wasn't out there talking about, oh, you know, the N-word this and the N-word that, and this place is Radifest, this place is an S-hole and all this kind of stuff. He wasn't out front with it. But we're allowing this president just to be out front with it. And we're not doing anything about it. And then, you know, and believe me, Brother Al Green that filed the petition for impeachment, he did the right thing. And then, like I said, there were 137 Democrats that didn't support it. So it didn't go through. So why should we vote for them? I mean, for real, why should we vote for them? Get other people in there. You know, people, and we got all these career politicians. We got tons of career politicians. Why? Get them out and get people in that really want to legislate and really want to do something. You know, that's my complaint with the Congressional Black Caucus. You know, they don't do nothing. You know, when was the last time y'all, even whether they force the issues, you got to force the issues. If you don't force the issues, then what's going to happen? Then you're just going to be buried. You know, oh, well, the time is not right. When is the time going to ever be right? You know, 400 years of oppression, almost 500 years of oppression of Africans and their descendants, you know, in the Americas, not just North America, Central America and South America too, and the islands in the Caribbean. So when is a good time to introduce legislation? When is a good time? You know, we have to start doing these things now, and we got to start holding these people accountable. Like we don't have any power. Withhold your vote. You know, look, if Hillary Clinton would have been more accountable or would have been more in there with black people, guess what? She would have overwhelmingly have been president because our vote would have swayed the whole deal. Our votes would have closed the deal for her. That's what I'm saying. You have the power. Stop believing that you don't have the power because you do. And one thing that one person said, you know, and I won't say his name, but he said the only fights that we lose are the ones that we don't fight. The only battles that we lose are the battles that we don't fight. Every other battle that Africans and the descendants have lost is the ones we don't fight. So we have to fight, and we have to start making people be accountable to us for our votes, for our money. Stop going in and spending your money, you know, like this Home Depot thing. Don't go in Home Depot when they straight up telling you, look, I'm about the racism. You know, don't go into Papa John's when Papa John was like, look, you know, he had to step down and everything when Papa John was a racist. He's like, I'm about the racism, you know. I mean, come on. And when whatever it is, and when people show you who they are, believe them. Believe them. Stop with all this craziness. You know, when people show you who they are, you have to believe them. So start holding people accountable. Even if it costs us the next election, we need to be accountable, and we need to hold people accountable for the things that we want and we need in this country. Anyway, that's the fastest 15 minutes in social media and on the internet. My name is Judson Powell. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit like, hit subscribe. I love you, and I'll see you next time. God bless you. I love you all. I love you. I love you. I love you.